the neighborhood or the public welfare in general. The applicant's assertions are fairly brief in your packet. You've seen them, I'm sure. They don't really, to be honest, they don't specifically really address each of the findings. They're a bit more kind of somewhat personal responses. Staff's review of the 4 conditions, unfortunately, we found that conditions A, B, and C have not been met. In regards to condition A, staff finds that the lot is typical of the zoning district. It's nearly perfectly square, rectangular, does not have any special features. It's not irregularly shaped, doesn't have any topographical features that need to be concerning, has an existing home on it that was built to the setbacks allowed. Condition B is simply not met because if we can't find that there's a special circumstance, we can assert that the special circumstance doesn't exist, therefore it hasn't been created by the owner or the applicant. Condition C is not directly met. We find that the home already enjoys substantial property rights that are similar to other properties in the area. A side yard variance request to allow these storage sheds to remain is not necessary in the context of condition C for the home to enjoy its substantial property rights. And staff, for condition D, it's not really known if the adjoining neighbor would really have an objection to the variance or if those existing sheds would have a detrimental impact on the community. However, I believe in your report, and I know this pertains more so to the public input section. I don't know if we have anybody in attendance from the neighborhood, but we did receive several emails or letters in opposition to the case, and one that was somewhat ambivalent, believing that we should uphold our zoning ordinance and not approve the variance, that they find that it would be detrimental to the community to support the variance. Therefore, that said, based on staff's findings that we couldn't find that conditions A, B, and C were met, we would need to recommend denial of the variance as filed simply because all 4 conditions need to be met in order for it to be granted. I'd be happy to answer questions, and I also have the board packet if you want to refer to any of the exhibits.
I just had a quick question. In some of these older neighborhoods, we before the city was, or before we became a city, some had different setback requirements. Is this the case with this lot? Do you know?
Acting chair, I'm not aware that the 10-foot setback would be, or the required 15-foot setback would be varied on this lot. I'm not aware if this would be grandfathered from an older development or not.
Okay, that was just something, if it were, when it was built, did it have different setback requirements? That was, we kind of granted relief a lot for older neighborhoods who kind of went back to the old standards, but that would be my only question in that regard.
Understood. In this case, I'm not aware, to be honest. So we would need to defer city records on the property. Okay. I pulled it from the zoning ordinance, and it was as filed.
Yeah, Brian.
Sorry if I'm missing this, but when was this construction done? Do we know?
Yeah, it was done years ago, actually. It wasn't, I bought this property 2017. It was actually done way before Mary even left. And
Chair and Board Member O'Connor, that's the applicant speaking. I didn't know if the applicant needed to introduce herself or be asked to speak first.
Well, I'm sorry, you were talking the entire time, so.
Well, the format for the hearings.
Just a little point of order. This is a hearing. It's quasi judicial, so we kind of have to follow a format. And so normally in a hearing like this, your request to be recognized by the chair, and then you'll be then you can speak. So for now, would you give your name for the record, just so
Carol?
I'm sorry,
Carol?
Okay, you're the owner of the property.
That's correct.
And did you did the construction, but it was years ago?
Yeah, because I bought the property maybe 6 months after I bought my first one. I want to say 2017 from Mr. Wagner, the previous couple that was here. So I want to say it was like 2017.
Okay,
I have to look at my records, but it wasn't, it was a couple of years ago, 2017, 2018.
So
when
roughly in 2017, you purchased the property and then you added these additions or sheds, whatever we want to call them, to your property?
That is correct.
Okay, and so there were no permits done?
There was a permit for the interior of the house, but I didn't do anything substantial with the interior of the house until recently, just basic like remodeling the bathrooms, floors,
Okay,
cabinets.
so there was no permit to add the structures to the property?
No, sir, because I misread what you guys had, which isn't very clear either, online as far as sheds are concerned. So it wasn't until recently where this came up. So after all these years, no.
Okay, and was there a general contractor who completed the work?
No, I just did everything on my own, like hiring different specialties for the work. Like someone that specialized in masonry, concrete, like specialties.
And so sorry, this is a question for Jason, and thank you, ma'am. Jason, we're using the word sheds in this. I did read one of the letters too. When I look at the pictures, it doesn't look like a shed. It looks like it's attached to the house. It's stuccoed like the house. It has a roof like the house. So I want to make sure I'm like, we're using the right term for this, or?
If you don't mind, Brian, they're using the word sheds, but actually one of them is now being used for hydroponic, and another one is like a greenhouse nursery. So they're not the way that they're referencing them. So I don't know anything about like my neighbors being bothered by it. In fact, my neighbors are actually hoping that it gets approved because they find that it's very tastefully done. They find that also that better than having some plastic unit being placed in the property or anything being, you don't really have a lot of options because you cannot have a shed that faces the golf course. I don't really have a choice there and then you can't really build anything on the side because you have to have also your neighbor agreeing to a wall that's completely closed where you can't have a see-through, from my understanding. At least that's what was explained to me before in my previous home. The house next door to me where they are located has been empty for quite a while. And then recently, I barely even noticed the neighbors were even there. So that was even an issue because there hasn't been anyone else there into that property. So all the other options, all the other options that you have available aren't really options.
To address your question, Commissioner O'Connor or Board Member O'Connor, in regards to the nomenclature for the shed, the applicant's own application, variance application, item number 1, purpose of request, shed for setback variance of 5 feet, side of house left. So we just reiterated the verbiage presented by the applicant. So the term hydroponic or whatever the other terms were used were presented to staff yesterday, late afternoon.
Chair, if I may go back, you asked about the setbacks and if the 15-foot was the older setbacks from pre-1987.
yeah.
They are. The 15-foot setback is from 1987 or pre-1987.
All right, thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay. All right,
I'm sorry,
my
really
my agenda. So Jason, have you completed, that was your complete staff report?
Yes, Chair, and that's my complete staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions from the board.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and let the applicant, if you have anything more to say, just anything else that was not in your application or you think needs more explaining, you can.
Well, I mean, I pretty much honestly just grow a lot of my own foods here. So those are the purposes of that I'm using the space in the side for, is pretty much just I'm pretty sure if when they came down here, they could see that I have an entire garden on the side there. Like I grow everything here. But my neighbors didn't even know about how to get in touch with the ones that would have an opinion or be affected by it. Did not have an opportunity to get any information, a letter, anything in regards to today's meeting. because they actually were completely for it passing. For the simple fact that it doesn't cause them any detriment. They thought it was, like I said, they thought it was very tastefully done. It's not some outside unit that's there, that's disruptive. And hoping so that way they can at least end up doing their own type of construction on their own properties because of whatever, reasons that they have. But I mean, that's pretty much about it. I mean, the cost that went into it years ago, you're talking about $1,600 worth of just the doors alone are $1,600, iron rod doors. The expense would be completely a big loss of thousands of dollars because just the doors alone were custom done. If
Okay,
anything, I've added value on many of the properties that I've had here inside Litchfield Park, including the one I recently sold, which was a patio home that bought at $300 and sold it for $540. So I've done nothing but add value to the properties here that I've owned.
okay, thank you. Right now, do any of the board members have questions for the applicant or staff? Not so much. Jason, you said that this is open to public comment. Is there anybody on the meeting right now that would like to comment on this? Or you said we received correspondence from public?
I received the 3 emails which are included in the packet. I have
Okay.
not received any other information of people wanting to speak.
Okay. All right, so if that's is everybody comfortable? Any more information you need? Okay, then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And then actually I need a motion to do that, I guess.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. And so at this time, we are moving into where the board members will discuss and make motions whether or not to pass or not this request for a variance. So to get the motion, to get it going, just Brian or Rachel, do you have a motion?
I guess I would make a motion to deny the variance request at 1145 East Acacia Circle. Only on the basis that I mean, I don't see that there was a need for it, and we can't, I just feel like we can't approve it based on it's there. And so now we approve it. I think that's a dangerous precedent to set. And I don't see special conditions, I don't see the 4 criteria being met, unfortunately. So, I mean, it's regretful because I do think that looks like it was tastefully done and it probably did cost quite a bit, but, that's my position.
Okay. Have a second?
Yeah, I second. I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, it was tastefully done. If this was a design review meeting, I would have no problem with how they did it. The problem is from a legal perspective, I don't understand how we can't approve it based off of the legal aspect of not the 4 findings not being met. I mean, that's how we've attacked or dealt with these. We deal with everyone in that same manner. So this is no different. I feel terrible for the homeowner. I see that they put money into it, and but legally I don't see how I can't approve it legally.
Thank you. I'm feeling the same way. I'm very protective of setbacks because setbacks are open spaces between homes. It really makes what the community is by having everything looks spacious and open and landscaped. And while you did a decent job doing it, you built into a setback that is required by our zoning. And you did it without permitting, which at that time, they probably would have given you a heads up. Don't go there, you'll need a variance first. So generally, we're very protective of setbacks unless the lot has some strange feature to it. or it's very difficult. Other than that, you get to enjoy the property as much as your neighbors enjoy theirs. So you haven't met the legal test on this application. So anyway, any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. It has on the agenda a staff report for current events. Is that more for design review?
Chair, yes, or acting chair, yes, we can defer the discussion on current events to the design review board presentation.
Okay, then I need a motion to adjourn the Board of Adjustment meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, we are adjourned. All right.
All right, let me let the chair back in. All right, and Chair Czarnecki, it looks like everyone's in, so
Okay,
whenever you're ready to begin.
let me find my agenda here. Okay, we'll go ahead and call to order this meeting of the Design Review Board for the City of Litchfield Park. And we'll start with our first item of business, which is design plans for an exterior remodel and addition for 485 East Campina Drive. And will Mr. Sanks give us his staff report?
Certainly, thank you, Chair and board members. The design plans are for an exterior remodel and addition for 485 East Campina Drive. I'll do what I generally do is share my screen, staff report with some embedded photos or embedded images. If we need to, we have the full packet of images as well. I can screen share, but one moment.
All right, are the applicants present?
Oh,
I believe Todd is representing Funkhauser Design, correct, Todd? If you're talking, you're muted.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm here, thank you.
Could you give your name for the record?
Todd Funkhauser with Todd Funkhauser Designs.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, go ahead, Jason.
thank you, Chair. I'll go ahead and share my screen now as we kind of walk through the request from the applicant based on the exhibits provided. So the project is seeking a full remodel of the interior and exterior of the existing residence, which sits on a corner lot. The addition is comprised mostly of a reconfigured 3-car tandem garage and bathroom on the right side of the home, which would be over 2.5 over on this side. And the existing 2-car turn-in garage, side turn-in garage, will be repurposed and reincorporated into the overall remodel. The entry will also have a somewhat modified feature to it, and then the entire exterior will be upgraded with new windows. It'll have a new flat clay roof tile as opposed to the current S tile. And the color of the home will be what's called Swiss coffee. And then they'll be doing what we've been seeing in recent trends is going with the dark trim, dark doors, dark window cladding with new windows to give it that high contrast look between the Swiss coffee body and the black trim and door colors. And then you can see that presented here, the front building elevation with the addition. You can see how it extends further to the right. We have board and batten siding on the garage extension, refreshed board and batten siding on the modified entry, a flat tile here, and then you can see how the black cladding pops off the new windows and coordinates with the doors and the garage, the new front facing garage door. In the site plan view, you can see that the garage is over away from the intersection, so it's on the more on the interior side setback of the house. And then they'll have a new front concrete driveway board so that you can have the cars coming in. So you'd actually have a car here, and then a 3-bay tandem. Getting a little bit of background noise. I'm not sure if it's on my end or not. I hope you can hear me. But we find that the application is well prepared. There are a number of exhibits intended to clearly show their intended improvements. The home's gonna have a more, of course, the contemporary look that we've seen trending for at least a couple of years now. And that the proposed change in roof material, paint scheme, and the additional value to the residents and the surrounding neighborhood. So we're recommending approval of the application subject to the exhibits provided by the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Todd, do you have anything to add to the staff report?
No, I think it's, I hope self-explanatory. The existing white brick house will be painted that Swiss coffee. And then the new additions are gonna be board and batten in the Swiss coffee. Getting rid of the S-tile roofing and putting a flat concrete tile roofing on top, so. And the other thing is the garage door is gonna be facing the street versus a side entry. The side entry that they had there before was a two-turn to get in. It was real tight anyway, so I decided to go with the front. But that's about it.
Thank you. Do any of the board members have questions for either the applicant or staff? No? Would someone like to make a motion?
Sure, I recommend that we approve the application based off of the recommendation of staff, and as long as they meet all the guidelines of paint and other items.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I was noting on the presentation that the roof is a light gray, so then it's not going to be totally dark like some of the others. So
No, it is light.
Okay. All right. If there's no further discussion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Any opposed? Okay. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next on our agenda is approval of the minutes from the May 5th meeting. Is there any corrections, or would someone like to make a motion to approve?
I'll move we approve the minutes of the May 5th meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No. Okay, so here we have a staff report on current events.
Certainly, thank you, Chair and board members. Just a kind of quick update on some items that are somewhat non-DRB related, but Susan Goodwin's completed her legal review of the draft rewrite of the zoning ordinance. We have some other items coming up, though, related to it that have trended recently. So I will be working on draft text amendments that will be presented through P&Z and council that may be swept into the overall code rewrite. Susan Goodwin's officially done with her extended retirement. So we thank her for her extra help. So she's finished with that. But we're going to pause a little bit on introducing the rewrite so we can maybe talk about some of these text amendments that may or may not come before the board for input to the P&Z and council. Let's see, other items. It looks like we may have a busy month next month for Board of Adjustment. I know that's on the other agenda, but we would just give you a heads up. We anticipate a few items coming forward next month, as well as Design Review Board, but that's it for now.
Okay. Do any board members have any current event? Oh, Daniel, did you have anything?
Yeah, I actually have one item to add. If you remember in November, I believe, the sidewalk material, the paving material for City Center was brought forth, and the board asked if they could see mock-ups. The mock-ups are complete, so I will be sending out an email probably tomorrow, trying to find time to coordinate to get everyone together, preferably maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week in the morning. It's a little cooler, so everyone can talk about it. But just a heads up, that will be coming shortly.
Okay, where would that be?
Right here at City Hall. Oh,
Okay,
you don't know, it's just behind City Hall.
okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do any board members have any current events? No? Motion to adjourn?
So moved?
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks, everybody. That was quick.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.